Hello again. I thought it would be better if I did a little video for the regulars. So, what we had in the last lesson, I noticed a lot with the D irregulars. There was another irregular, but the more we learn Korean, the more we're going to see these irregulars. So I thought it's probably a good time to just go ahead and start learning them so it doesn't have to be so confusing. So the thing about irregulars is that there are 6 types that I know of. Could be one more maybe, but I think there are 6 at least. And these irregulars, I'll call them, like for this one, the D irregulars, and we have the B irregulars, and that just means that the letter before the da, right? So the D before the da. That's the word we're talking about. But not every word that has something like that in it is irregular. Here's an example right here. I included one regular verb just for reference. So not every verb that ends with the D before the da is considered irregular. So how do you know when a verb is irregular? Well, you don't. Not just by looking at it anyways. The only way you'll know is just by memorizing which ones are irregular. For the D verbs, there aren't many at all. In fact, most of these, this is like almost all of them, pretty sure. Some of them, there's only a handful. Some of them, there's a lot more. Like the B conjugation. These are usually adjectives. There's a lot of these. But the good thing is that once you learn how to conjugate one, you know how to conjugate any irregular verb that has it. Sorry, my alarm went off. Okay, so the next thing is that when we're conjugating irregular verbs, there's only a specific time where it's going to be irregularly conjugated. So when it's followed by a vowel ending, that vowel ending is typically ayo, oyo ending. So usually it's casual and informal that are like the irregulars, but it just depends on the type that we're doing. So usually when it's followed by a vowel, then it will be irregularly conjugated. But when it's followed by a consonant, then it stays regular, which means we conjugate it how we've learned how to do it already. Nothing different from usual. So with all that in mind, all that said, we're going to do the one I find the easiest first, the D irregulars, and we can slowly work our way through each of them. So I'll just start with these. D irregular, D good irregular. So when it meets a verb ending beginning with a vowel, what we're going to do is change this bottom D to an L. That's the rule for this one. And that's a simple rule. So when it meets a D verb ending beginning with a vowel, it becomes L. When it meets a verb ending beginning with a consonant, then it is regular. I'm trying to say it in a way so it will be easy to take notes of, but I'm going to have to show you. So formal, let's revise the formal rule, right? So if we take off the da, if this last letter is a consonant, 씁니다. If that last letter was a vowel instead, it'd be the bottom B plus 니다. In this case, the D is a consonant, so we're going to pick 씁니다 ending. So that's conjugated just like we normally would, right? 못 씁니다. Conjugate how we would normally do it, but then we get to casual. So that means we need to take off the da. We have 못. And because we're doing casual, that means we're going to use ayo or oyo, vowel ending. So that bottom D is going to switch over to an L, rir. 물. So we do that, and then we conjugate as normal. So we look at the last vowel this time, which is u. So that means we need oil. 물어요. And this word means to ask, by the way. So 묻습니다, 물어요. Informal, 물어. Right? Pretty simple. Same thing for this one. So take off the da to get the verb stem by itself. Our last letter is a consonant, so we again need 씁니다. Forgive my terrible handwriting and also the tapping on this screen while I'm writing. For casual, the bottom D changed to an L. And we add oil, 걸어요, 걸어. This means to walk. 걷습니다. I walk. 걸어요. I walk. 걸어. I walk. Only thing that's changing is the feeling, right? So, now what if we need to do like past tense? Let's go down here for this one. 듣다 is the most famous example of a D verb, D irregular. So, we take off the da. We're going to do past tense this time. Right? So past tense, that means we know we need one of these, right? Ot or at. And what? That is vowel or consonant. Vowel. Vowel ending, so that means we're going to have to change that bottom D when we're doing this. So change the bottom D to an L, add the past tense ending, finish the conjugation. Oops, this is supposed to be formal. So we need 씁니다 again. 들었습니다. 들었습니다. I heard. So all of these are going to be the same. 들었어요. Just take off the yo for the informal. 들었어. Right? We'll look at the future tense. We'll use this word 붙다. Something swells up, increases, you know. So first step is take off the da. Second step, identify if what's coming next to this is going to be a vowel or consonant. So for the future tense ending, I'm going to mess that up a lot, by the way. If I don't catch myself, just know I do that a lot in these types of lessons. But so consonant ending is usually what? 올 것이다. Let's just do unconjugated future tense form. And then vowel ending is usually the one L at the bottom plus 것이다. So this is where it actually gets tricky with the future tense. Now, in this case, you would say, okay, well, this bottom D is a consonant. So obviously, we need that one. So it should be 부를 것이다. And you would be wrong. Close, but wrong. We're actually still going to change this bottom D to an L first. And we're then going to add that ending. Why? Because the ul. The ul. It's a vowel right there. So we still need to change the bottom D to an L first before we do it. I hope these arrows are not making it more confusing than it needs to be. So change the bottom D to an L and then add our ending. This is supposed to be formal. 것입니다. 부를 것입니다. It will swell, increase. Same thing for this one, except we just changed the ending to a casual one. Forgetting my extra 울. 불을 거예요. And then lastly, same thing, change that bottom D to an L, and still we're going to add 거예요, right? Then the next thing I want to bring up with the future tense. Well, so if a verb already has an L ending originally, like 살다, for example, right? This is also irregular. A lot of, L's are also irregular. So there might be 7. L verbs are considered irregulars in certain conjugations, just like all of them, like how, with the present tense, only the casual and informal are the irregular ones. When it comes to an L ending verb like this one, in the present tense, it's going to have an irregular conjugation, right? So usually the rule that we went over, if a verb ends in a consonant, we would do this. 올 것입니다, right? Usually. So if a verb already ends with an L originally, no changes needed, we're not going to add that. This would be incorrect. 살을 거예요, that would be incorrect. You would just attach the 거 ending. 살 것입니다. I will live. 살 거예요. 살 거야. So you wouldn't add anything right there for a verb that already ends in an L. So that's where it can be tricky. But since these words don't start out with an L, they have this sort of rule. Just keep that in mind. So we have a couple more. Let's do a practice. Let's skip over shita and do 깨닫다, to realize something. So we're going to do casual. Ignore the column, my man. We'll do casual, since that's the regular one. Now you can pause the video and try to do this one, and then I'm just going to show the answers. I'm going to show present, past, and future. So pause and try to do all of them. I'm assuming you've paused and you've come back to see the answer. So let's do it. So we know first step, taking off the da, right? Casual, we're doing casual, so we know we're going to need to take the D out and add an L. 깨다. Okay, change the bottom D to an L. Next step, let's look at the last vowel. It's A. We need ayo. Boom, finished product. 깨달아요. 깨달아요. I'm realizing. Past tense, similar thing. So we need the at ending. 깨달았어요, right? And then future tense. Same thing, get to the stopping point. And what's coming next to it is a vowel, so bottom D turns to an L. And we're still going to add on that ul. 깨달을 거예요. I know that feels wrong. It feels like there's way too much there. Like we don't need all of that. But that's just the rule. So we wouldn't say 깨달 거예요. That would be wrong. We need it. 깨달을 거예요. Boom. There we go. And then before we go, I'll do 믿다, to believe, to trust. Since this is a regular verb, which means what? Same old rules, nothing new. How would I conjugate this in formal present tense? I'm going to pretend I'm hearing the answer being said, at least thought. 믿습니다. Present tense. Good. What about casually, politely? 믿어요. 믿어요. And informally? 믿어. I believe you. I trust you. Present tense. Past tense, similar thing. 믿었습니다. 믿었습니다. I believed you. I trusted you. 믿었어요. 믿었어. Future tense. I really shot myself in the foot by making it so big. Oh, where'd my So we have meet, last letter is a consonant. So we need 올 것입니다. 믿을 것입니다. I will trust you. 믿을 거예요. I will trust you. 믿을 거야. I will trust you. So none of the translations change, just from changing the formality levels, like we know. It's only the feeling it's going to give is going to change. All right, I'm going to make a separate video for the B irregulars. But in case I put this on my YouTube channel, let's do a proper outro. Thanks for checking out this video. I'll be making a video on hopefully all of the irregular verbs, and then once I've made all of them, I might put them all into like one big video as well. But if you liked it, leave a like, leave a comment if you want to see more like this. Check out one of the videos at the end of the screen, and I'll see you next time.